Well, hello and welcome to another Faith, Philosophy and Life. Me, Mr. Shelton. I do hope that you are doing well. We're looking at a new unit today, looking at the idea of philosophy and some of the arguments for and against God's existence and some of the big questions that there are in the world as well. So I want to start with this question. What big questions can you think about in the world today? What big questions can you think about in the world today? Maybe grab your pen and paper, maybe make a list of some of those questions. Because the bigger the question, the bigger the investigation that you deserve to make to try and find the answer. And while you're doing that, here's our short, cheesy intro sequence. So our title today is quite simply, what is philosophy? What is philosophy? And we're going to explore what mysteries are in the world today. Okay, and we're going to think about some of the big questions that we have in the world, which you started to think about already. It's going to be good if we can explain what makes a mystery a mystery. It's going to be great if you can discuss one specific mystery, giving solutions potentially for its solution. And maybe evaluate if mysteries are actually real or if mysteries aren't mysteries, they're just solutions we haven't yet found. I'm sure that does make more sense to you than it did when it came out from me. So during this unit, we're going to look at what is philosophy. We're going to look at what people believe about God, the design argument, the cosmological argument, and scientific approaches as well. And today we're going to look at some mysteries, we're going to watch a media clip, do a card sort, an I Wonder poem, and then we've got some clips to end with. But we'll see where we get with that, because this is obviously going out online. I may get myself in some trouble with some of those, but we'll see as we go. So to start off with, I found this top 5 clip. This is a really nice clip. Top 5 mysteries in the world. So let's watch this now and just see, do any of these ring bells? Do any of these make you think, I wonder what that's about? So let's watch this now.
Easily one of the most famous landmarks in our world, the Great Pyramids of Giza. Thousands of people visit each year to see these magnificent pyramids, constructed from stones at the ancient site of Giza in Egypt. Despite years of analysis, no one actually knows how they were constructed, but it's believed they were built over 5,000 years ago. They're built using over 2.3 million blocks of stone and granite, each weighing over 1 ton apiece, and some weighing as much as 40 tons. What baffles people is how they were moved from their place of origin as far as 600 miles away in Aswan and transported to Giza. Maybe on rafts down the Nile during the rainy season, but how did they get them onto the rafts? Wheels hadn't been invented then, so the possibility of a cart transporting them to the rafts can be ruled out. Such as the fact the pyramids are located on the exact centre of the landmass of the Earth. Mathematical formulas and numbers like the constant pi formula were also used to construct the pyramids, but the pi formula had not been discovered until years after. The 3 pyramids in Giza form a Pythagorean triangle, whose sides have the proportions 3, 4 and 5. The pyramids are also giant sundials and calendars. The pyramids are also exactly aligned to the north-south axis of the compass, but don't forget the compass hadn't been invented for years after the pyramids were built, so how could the Egyptians possibly have built their pyramids facing the exact magnetic north without even having a compass? The list goes on and on with things that surely would have been impossible to do thousands of years ago. The Anticathedra Mechanism. The Anticathedra Mechanism is currently housed in the Greek National Archaeology Museum in Athens, and is thought to be one of the most complicated antiques in existence. At the beginning of the 20th century, divers off the island of Anticathedra came across this clock-like mechanism that was just laying there inside a wrecked cargo ship. It's thought to be nearly 2,000 years old. This device was very thin and made of bronze. It was also mounted in a wooden frame and had more than 2,000 characters inscribed all over it, though nearly 95% of these have been decrypted by experts, but there has been no publication of the full text of the inscriptions. But today it's believed that this instrument was a kind of mechanical analog computer used to calculate the movement of stars and planets in astronomy, which sounds nothing compared to our modern technology, but don't forget this was built in around 87 BC. It's incredible to think how it was made thousands of years ago, but also Also, no one has any idea about why or how it became to be on that sunken cargo ship. The ship was Roman though, and they think the Anticathedra Mechanism was developed in Greece. One theory suggests that the reason it came to be on that Roman ship could be because the instrument was among the spoils of war loot by the Roman Empire Julius Caesar. Stonehenge. Stonehenge is a prehistoric monument located in Wiltshire, England. Similar to the pyramids, they're believed to have been constructed in around 3000 BC to 2000 BC. Although there is lots of ancient monuments surrounding the area, the main mystery is the stones you see here. It's the same scenario as the pyramids, they just don't know how they got those enormous stones on top of the standing stones. The entire structure is put together like woodwork. Joints and sockets have been carved into the stone, so each stone fits into each other precisely. Stonehenge is also incredible in that it has horizontal stones to form arches. These horizontal stones have been engineered so that they were flat on a sloping site. Just how did they do that? And how did they get the 4-ton stones on top of these horizontal stones? There is also no real evidence of how they transported the stones to Stonehenge. The stones that you see here that were used for the outer ring are called blue stones, and these only existed in one place, Wales, nearly 200 miles away. The case of Benjamin Kyle. This is an unusual one and deserves to be mentioned. In 2004, an approximately 86-year-old man was found naked outside a Burger King in Georgia, America. He wasn't dead, he was unconscious, and would eventually come around in the nearby Memorial Hospital. When he did, he couldn't remember how he'd ended up lying beside the bins, but that was the least of his problems. He was diagnosed with retrograde amnesia, basically meaning he couldn't remember anything, not even his name. The hospital staff put his name as BK on his hospital form, as it's the initials of the place he was found, Burger King. It was later adapted to Benjamin Kyle. He had a feeling his date of birth was the 29th of August 1948, and he had fragment memories of Denver and Indianapolis. He believes he may have had brothers, but has no other family instincts, no family, kids, nothing like that. All investigations by the police and the FBI have turned up nothing. His fingerprints aren't in any database, his face isn't in any missing persons file, and he doesn't even have a social security number. He's basically a blank slate. In a TV interview, he said, "I don't exist, no one is looking for me." There were, however, 2 people who believe they met him working at a Waffle House in Georgia. This makes a lot of sense to Benjamin, who found that he instinctively knew how to operate the machinery in his new kitchen job, but surely workers there would recognise him from all the news coverage. So maybe he was beaten up and took a blow to the head, causing permanent amnesia. But what are the odds of getting beaten up, getting amnesia, being naked, having no social security number, and have no one looking for you or even recognising you despite media attention? All that just doesn't add up, so what exactly is going on? And will we ever know the true identity of this mystery man? The out-of-body experience is mind-boggling. Out-of-body experiences are personal experiences during which people feel as if they are perceiving the physical world from a location outside of their physical bodies. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? But 10 in every 100 people have an out-of-body experience at least once in their life, and it still continues to blow scientists' minds. There are lots of stories about people who have gotten released from their bodies and are able to look at themselves from the outside, and it seems to happen when they have undergone a near-death experience. They are said to feel no pain or emotion, and what's even crazier is that after their experiences, they are able to describe what they have seen from the outside perception, which they wouldn't have known from their body. There are stories from people who have been pronounced dead in emergency rooms and have said that during their out-of-body experiences, they were aware of conversations going on in separate rooms whilst they were being worked on by the doctor. But how can this be possible? How can you even see yourself from a different angle while still being in your body and record in your memory what's going on from that perspective? You can see why it's unsolved.
Okay, so with that watched, I just wonder if any of those really spoke to you and made you think, I've always wondered about that. What solutions may they be? Well, we're going to, hang on that, think about that. You may want to do a bit of more research into it. But I want to particularly look at these. So, I'd like you to have a look at these now. You've got A, B, C, D, E, and F. See if you can work out which is which. Make a list in your book of A to F and write down in them, what do you think these are the mysteries about? See if you know any of these. They're all famous world mysteries. Okay, wonder what you found there. A then, Loch Ness Monster. I'm sure you've heard of Nessie. Is he actually real? I'd like to think so. B is the Mary Celeste. This was a fascinating discovery of a ship which was discovered called the Mary Celeste. And people boarded this boat, and when they went on it, they found all the tables were laid for dinner. There was all the cutlery out, but there was no sailors to be found. Everybody did find out what happened on the Mary Celeste and why all the sailors suddenly disappeared, and lots of ideas abound. C is a picture of the Golden Gate Bridge. That isn't the mystery. What the mystery is Amelia Earhart. Amelia Earhart, who was the first woman to fly across the Atlantic, disappeared. Her plane was never discovered. Now, most people think that she had some sort of horrible accident and her plane just crashed into the ocean, but some people like to think that she landed on a desert island and lived out the rest of her days in quietness. We'll never know. D is Bigfoot, or the Abominable Snowman. E is the Bermuda Triangle. Just what is this area, and why is it that lots of aeroplanes and ships have sunk there? And then F is Roswell. Okay, the RAAF, the Air Force of America. Did they down an alien spacecraft in Roswell? And have they stole all of the alien technology? They claim they didn't. They claim it was an air balloon, but I'll leave that to you to think about. So there's some big mysteries. The question is, are there any solutions to those? So what makes a good mystery, I suppose that's what we're thinking about. What makes a good mystery? Because all of those are good mysteries. But there's some bigger questions as well. We think they're big questions, but there are some other questions as well that are worth considering. So philosophy then. Philosophy is the study of creation, of theories about basic things such as the nature of existence, knowledge and thought, or about how people should live. I mean, no way is that basic, I suppose. But what I'd like you to do is to make a quick definition of the word philosophy now in your book. What is philosophy? Okay, it's the study about things like the nature of existence, knowledge and thought. So pause me now where you come up with a definition of philosophy. So I wonder then, what questions can you come up with regards to the existence, well, to philosophical questions? So, for example, is there a God? And I'd like you now to come up with a list of questions if you can. This might be more useful if you've got contact with other people. I appreciate if you're at home this is a little bit harder. But maybe send a WhatsApp or message or whatever, signal or whatever, to someone that is also off. And try and bounce up the biggest questions that you can. So pause me now while you do that. Try and come up with a list, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6. Come back to me when you're done. Okay, you'll find a link in the description below. There we are. In the description below, and in that is a list of questions. What I'd like you to do is to download that and have a good look at those questions. You don't need to write them out, but they're all big philosophical questions, and see when you're looking at that, what do you think about these? Now I've written down do as many as you can in the time that you've got. I want you to have 5 minutes or so. Maybe choose 3 or 4. Maybe choose 5 or 6. You know what your time you've got in 5 minutes. There is quite a bit more still to go in this session. And maybe have a go at answering some of those questions. So choose as many as you can for the next 5 minutes. Write them out in your book. Choose the ones that you want. And then try and come up with an answer. So pause me now while you do that. Come back to me in a few minutes. Okay, so here's some more mysteries for you. See if you can work out what these mysteries are. Okay, so you've got ghosts, you've got poltergeist, that's the filing cabinet picture that's opened. You've got the Holy Grail. If you don't know what I'm talking about with that, you've probably never seen Indiana Jones and the search for the Last Crusade. I think it's that one anyway, where they search for the Holy Grail. The cup that Jesus was meant to use, or maybe you've seen the Da Vinci Code, which has a somewhat different take on it. You've got the whole very sad story of Madeleine McCann. You've got, it's very clever there, this is an image of Mary and Joseph saying that baby Jesus is missing. Well, there is a big question about what happened to the body of Jesus at the resurrection. You've got what happened to the Ark of the Covenant with the Ten Commandments in. Again, lots of theories abound. And what happened to the lost city of Atlantis? Well, yes, I know you might say it's lost, but was there ever one in the first place? Was Plato actually right, or was he wrong? Something for you to think about. If you don't know what anything I'm talking about there, maybe spend a few minutes doing some research on that. So, what I'd like you to do is I'm going to ask you to create your own I Wonder poem. Okay, you can read the one there that I found online, and I'd like you to create 3 stanzas for it. So, I wonder why the grass is green and why the wind was never seen. Who taught the birds to build a nest and told the trees to take a rest? Or when the moon is not quite round, where can the missing bits be found? So using your big questions from today, I'd like you to create your own I Wonder poem. So give yourself 10 minutes or so to do that. There's not a huge amount more to go for this lesson. So pause me now while you do it. Come back to me when you're done. Okay, so we're approaching the end of our lesson together. I have got a few clips I'm going to try and show you. I won't get through all of these in our time, and I don't know how many will be blocked due to copyright. But I think there's some big questions here. I'd like you to watch these and just reflect. What do you think would be the solutions or the reasons as to why these things may occur? Now, yes, they're all films. Obviously, I get that. But my question is quite simple, is that if there's a clip about miracles, do you believe that miracles happen? If there's a clip about we live in a computer program like the Matrix, is that actually feasible? Well, let's watch this and let's just blow your mind away.
This is the construct. It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing to equipment, weapons, training simulations, anything we need.
Right now, we're inside a computer program?
Is it really so hard to believe? Your clothes are different, the plugs in your arms and head are gone. Your hair has changed. Your appearance now is what we call residual self-image. It is the mental projection of your digital self.
This isn't real.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. This is the world that you know. The world as it was at the end of the 20th century. It exists now only as part of a neural interactive simulation that we call the Matrix. You've been living in a dream world, Neo. This is the world as it exists today. Welcome to the desert of the real.
Don't feel bad, Homer. 9 out of 10 religions fail in their first year.
Let's game, Hendrix. God, I gotta ask you something. What's the meaning of life?
Homer, I can't tell you that.
Come on.
You'll find out when you die.
I can't wait that long.
You can't wait 6 months?
No, tell me now.
Well, okay.
Whoa. This is most atypical.
Welcome to heaven.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Only the most serene and enlightened souls shall gain audience. Dude, we're in big trouble. I think I have an idea, dude. How's it going?
So we said this lesson, it'd be good if you could explain what makes a mystery a mystery. I think we've covered that quite well. Great if we can discuss one specific mystery with giving some theories for its solution, and hopefully you've been thinking about that as we've been going through some of those. And even better if you can evaluate if mysteries are really mysteries or if solutions can be given for them, and that obviously is a little bit more for you to work through. So this is our final thought. Which is the biggest question you thought about today? And what do other people that you know think as well? I'm going to leave that there for today. Thanks very much for your time. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. Wash your hands. God bless you. And I'll be seeing you soon.